Good afternoon, everyone. It's James Carpenter with Country Living, and the video today is basically on Arborist wood chips. And in all actuality, you could consider it a form of mulch. This is the children's play area, and it's completely coated with the wood chips. That's the old picnic table I built years ago. And there's the tree fort. I built that for the grandkids. And of course they grew up, so the public can use it. It's like a picnic area. Some of the pine trees I started from sprouts. So we're following the children's play area mulch around to this mound of dirt, which is the original topsoil that was removed when the driveway was put in. In the background there you can see the one trip 20-footer shipping container, the old well, and that white bull barn my dad and I built back in the early 70s. Now here's some more mulch down around the old farmhouse. Now we're going down the driveway. The driveway is 600 feet long, and as you can see, both sides of the driveway have been mulched. Now I don't know if you've ever had any mulching done, but if you have a company come out and put down mulch, you know what the expense is. So just look at the amount of Arborist wood chips that I've used in the form of mulch over my property. It has cut my mowing time down tremendously, especially weed eating around all these trees. For years I mowed around everything, and then when I got this mulch agreement going and I get a couple loads a week, I've been able to mulch not only along driveway, but now we're going down the south side of the property. It's all mulched. Got some benches out there, flower bed. Those benches I picked up for free. They were somebody else's scrap. So now we're going down the east side of the property. It's all mulched. That stake right there is the property line. There was a little bit of a dispute with the neighbor over the property line, so I found all the stakes and got it straightened out. And this mulch is every bit of 18 to 2 feet deep. It's down there pretty heavy. And that was 18 inches, obviously. 1.5 feet or so. Now we're at the back corner of the property. That's my burn pile. That wall of dirt is a windbreak. Now we're going to move some of this mulch around with the tractor. That's how it comes in, it gets dumped, and then with the bucket on this tractor, I'm able to place it where I want to place it. So here we go, we're going to get us a scoop. I try to get as much as I can in that bucket to reduce the amount of trips I have to make. It looks like we got a pretty good sized load. We're going to dump it out at the end of the mulch pile. Now obviously all these wood chips are going to completely decompose over time. What do you think of that? That's mulch on fire. I put a bunch of mulch on the garden last fall, and I decided if I'm going to have a garden this spring, I better burn that mulch, turn it into carbon, and till it into the ground. Now I'm going down the driveway to service some areas down there. Finishing up the mulch in this area. I expanded it all the way to the road, and now I'm just kind of touching up a little bit. Okay, we got another big scoop. You notice how I shake the bucket? I shake the bucket to get all the loose stuff to drop off so it ain't falling off in my driveway. Now when I move this mulch around with the bucket, obviously it takes time, but it's well worth it. I just can't believe what I've been able to do with all these wood chips. And once they fully compost down, obviously I'm just going to have some really good soil. Tree limb got in the way a little bit. Do some edge touch up here. You can see that little bit of grass showing through right there. I'm going to cover it up. Boom, and it's done. Alright, now we're going to move some mulch down to the end of the major mulch pile. This pile is almost or close to 3 foot thick. It's quite a bit of mulch packed up there. That mulch, once it rots down, is probably going to be my primary source for soil for the garden and different things like that. But I've still got a little more time with decay before it's going to be ready for that. But if I were to dig down deep right now, any spot on this pile, that mulch would immediately turn black and look damp where it's in the process of composting. Now, I've watched a lot of people on YouTube that have professional mulch places, and they got great big machines that turn it and all kinds of stuff, but I'm definitely not at that point. I'm just an amateur. I'm like someone splitting wood with just a box store splitter instead of some great big elaborate machine. Another good sized scoop. Don't have to shake it when I'm on the mulch pile, because if it falls off, it's mulch that it's falling onto, so it's no big deal. Alright, this is another area that I've covered with wood chips. And what I typically do every summer, I'll get the tiller out and I'll just kind of churn it up a little bit. But you can see, if you look at the texture, it's really rough from where I did all the dumping. You run that tiller down through there and it smooths all them humps out. Now you can see how dark that looks. That mulch is 1 or 2 years old at this point. Something I did this year, normally I plant potatoes over there in that garden that's on fire. But this year, obviously, that's not going to be the case. So what I did in this area that I'm in right now, I just took the forks on the tractor and I stuck them in the ground about 3 or 4 inches, and I back dragged and I made 4 rows that way, and I planted the potatoes directly in the mulch. So that's an experiment. This fall we're going to have to see how well they grew in that mulch that's only been composting for roughly 3 years at this point. That just shows you how the blades of that tiller is just digging into that mulch. Here we are, a little bit of a different camera angle for you. The front of the old Kubota. And this is that area we were tilling. After I got it tilled, this is what it looks like. It took all them humps out of there and made it relatively smooth in there. But if you can imagine, just mowing this area right here is a huge area to mow. If I lived in a city, it'd probably be bigger than the average lot. And then the mulch on the perimeter and the tree line, the mulch down the driveways, the children's play area. There has been an awful lot of uses for these arborist wood chips. And here's another use for them. Up here against the building, I had a bunch of shrubs in there. I tore them out last fall, and I've mulched up close to the building. And eventually you're going to see a video where I'm going to dig out the grass beside this area where I'm putting the mulch right now, and I'm going to make it additional parking. If you look down through there and you see that fence coming off the end of the building, I'm going to take a string line and I'm going to run a string line down through here, and that little bit of grass you see will be dug out down to the clay, and we'll put some 1s and 2s in there, and then we're going to cover it with that slag material, and that'll give us quite a few more parking spots. I back drag it just a little bit, try to knock down some of them humps we were talking about earlier. But I think the whole purpose of this video is just to let people know the potential of arborist wood chips. Secondly, making a good connection with an arborist that can supply you with wood chips. And then, of course, what I've found is you got to be careful. Sometimes they'll throw complete rounds in there. A round is basically a cut-off log. And I've pretty well got them trained that I really don't want to accept it if you're going to put that full-size wood in there, those rounds. Makes it very difficult when you're moving the mulch. You have to stop, get off the tractor, get the log out. It just becomes a big pain in the butt. So they've been pretty good about bringing me clean mulch. And even in the early days, they used the mulch truck to throw their trash in there too, so I'd have to separate a lot of trash. I've subsequently got all that taken care of. So the video is going to be ending shortly. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope there was some information in here that could help you. And have a great day.